When people talk about classic rock, the same names get thrown around. But for every Zeppelin climbing the stairway to heaven, there was another group absolutely shredding in the shadows, getting overlooked by bad timing, label drama, or just plain weird luck. Today, we're digging up those hidden gems, the bands that deserve the spotlight but somehow missed it. You're about to discover 15 underrated bands from the 60s and 70s that you seriously need to hear. Yes, you've probably heard Time of the Season, but most people stop there, and that's the real crime. These guys crafted Odyssey and Oracle, an album so beautifully strange and ahead of its time that it flopped at first, only to be hailed decades later as a psychedelic masterpiece.
Emily, can't you?
Think Beatles-level songwriting with a ghostly twist. Now we're getting weird, in the best way. This German band helped pioneer what became known as krautrock, and their albums are full of hypnotic grooves, chaotic energy, and improvisational magic. If you like music that makes your brain do cartwheels, throw on Take-O-Make-O. Can didn't follow rock trends, they created their own little universe. Led by the enigmatic Arthur Lee, Love mixed folk rock, psych, and baroque pop like nobody else. Their 1967 album, Forever Changes, sounds like a dream slowly falling apart. It's stunning, strange, and honestly one of the most underappreciated records of the era. The fact that they weren't huge, a total mystery. Forget everything you thought you knew about where heavy metal started. Before Black Sabbath dropped a single riff, Blue Cheer was making amps bleed. Their cover of Summertime Blues sounds like the speakers are on fire.
Welcome to the United Nations.
Loud, raw, and way ahead of their time, they deserve way more credit in metal's family tree. These guys were like the Rolling Stones' troublemaking cousins. Gritty blues rock? Check. Psychedelic experiments? Check. Their 1968 album SF Sorrow was arguably the first full rock opera. Yep, before Tommy. But chaos behind the scenes and zero marketing support buried their greatness. Still, if you're into trippy storytelling with a snarling edge, dig into their catalog. Power pop, garage rock, British invasion vibes, they had it all. Shake Some Action should have made them stars, but the band's revolving lineup and lack of major label support kept them underground. Today, they're a cult favorite, and if you love the Kinks or early Stones, these guys will scratch that itch and then some. Weird name, weirder sound. This band only released one album, but wow, what a trip! With no guitars, they used early synthesizers, electric violin, and tape loops to create something that still sounds experimental today. Released in 1968, it was just too ahead of its time, and the band split soon after. But fans of Radiohead, Björk, or any avant-garde rock should definitely give it a spin. This band brought the thunder. Their 1970 debut, Kingdom Come, is pure proto-metal chaos. Fuzzy riffs, pounding drums, and vocals that sounded like the devil screaming through a megaphone. They were too loud for radio, too raw for critics, and too wild to stay signed. But without them, bands like Motorhead and Metallica might have sounded very different. Not to be confused with the American band of the same name, the British group blended folk, psych, and surreal lyrics into a whimsical, otherworldly vibe. Their 1967 debut, Tangerine Dream, is like stepping into a Lewis Carroll hallucination. They never got the recognition they deserved, but their influence can be heard in everything from early Pink Floyd to modern psych revival bands. Okay, they were more early 70s than 60s, but they sounded like the Beatles if the Fab Four had grown up in Memphis and had their hearts broken a few too many times. Their debut, #1 record, is pure magic. Power pop at its finest, jangly, melodic, and full of emotion. But bad distribution and label indifferences kept them from the spotlight. Today, they're a band that musicians worship and fans discover like a secret handshake. Made up of members from Iron Butterfly and Deep Purple, Captain Beyond mixed spacey prog with hard rock muscle. Their self-titled 1972 debut feels like a concert album without the bloated self-importance. It's tight, funky, heavy, and filled with tempo shifts that'll keep you guessing. If Rush and Black Sabbath had a baby, it might sound something like this. You want anarchist poetry over garage rock? The Fucks were it. They were gritty, political, and raw in every sense of the word. Songs like Kill for Peace and CIA Man were direct attacks on the establishment, wrapped in messy but passionate rock arrangements. Too vulgar and too radical for radio, they never hit the big time, but they lit the underground scene on fire. Before Glenn Hughes joined Deep Purple, he fronted this funky little rock band called Trapeze. Their sound was a slick blend of hard rock, blues, and soul. Think Cream meets Sly Stone. Tracks like Medusa and You Are the Music, We're Just the Band show off a band with monster chops and killer grooves. But again, timing is everything, and they never broke out of cult status. Best known for Mississippi Queen, but their full catalog is way deeper. Leslie West's guitar tone was thick enough to cut steel, and their mix of hard rock and blues stomped hard. Climbing is an album every rock fan should hear front to back. But being in a band that didn't quite fit into the psychedelic scene or the emerging metal wave left them floating somewhere in between. Before Todd Rundgren went solo, he fronted Nas, a band that combined Beatles-esque harmonies with garage rock energy. Their song, Open My Eyes, should have been a monster hit. On your mind, leave me behind. But internal drama and label misfires cut them off way too early. Rundgren left, became a legend, and Nas faded into cult status. But that early work? Still gold. Now that you've got this lineup of underrated rock gods, your playlist is basically begging for a makeover. These bands didn't just warm up for the legends, they helped shape the entire sound of rock and roll from the shadows. Each one brings something unique to the table, from psychedelic dreamscapes to proto-metal fury. Some were too weird, some were too early, and some were just plain unlucky, but all of them deserve to be heard. Which one do you like the most? Let us know in the comment section below, and make sure to like the video. Thanks for watching.